when I got home, I started to call her friends. And they hadn't spoken to her. They didn't know where it was. And then as the hours progressed, it's like, oh my God, she's not somewhere that we know of. So it was anxiety and panic.
Scott said that Laci went to walk the dog and she hadn't come back. And my husband, I could only hear his end of the conversation, but I just remember him saying, "I'm coming, brother." And he hung up the phone and walked out the front door and got in his car.
It's Christmas Eve. I'm at my cabin with my family. When the phone rings up here on a holiday, it's not good news. A sergeant said, "Do you mind driving down to the city of Modesto for this missing person? It's a pregnant lady. We got a gut feeling something ain't right. Hey, she's 8 months pregnant. We need to find her." It was like 9 o'clock at night. It's 90 miles, so it takes an hour and a half to get there. I said, lock the house up. Don't let anybody go in it till I get there. And when I get there, introduce me to Scott Peterson. When I drove up to the house, the first thing I noticed was there had to have been 30 people in the driveway.
You had neighbors, friends, and family canvassing the neighborhood looking for Laci. There was an underlying panic. Where is she?
They were knocking on doors, yelling her name. They had a helicopter up. They had dog teams and officers walking in the park looking for her. Scott was there. I told him who I was and what I was there for, and I was, there to help. And he was kind of just nonchalant. He didn't have any urgency about him that I noticed. To me, that was suspicious.
He was just calm. He was, he was pleasant. He was polite. He didn't have the near panic that everybody else we met after that had.
I asked Scott to take me in the house. I wanted to know if there was any sign of struggle or a break-in.
Scott never made any claims that there was a home intrusion, that there was somebody had broken in the house and abducted her by force. For me, it was pretty much immediate that there was foul play here for the simple reason that Laci didn't lead an at-risk lifestyle. When you have somebody like that that goes missing, the first place you look and the first place you have to clear out is the person closest to the victim, and that was her husband.
In the driveway, I saw in the back of his truck, he had 4 or 5 big outside umbrellas, and they were all wrapped in a blue tarp. He said, well, I was gonna store them for the, for the winter at my shop.
We've got patio umbrellas that he said he was gonna take over to the warehouse, but ended up back at his house.
I noticed the washing machine had all these rags on it, and I thought that was odd. What Scott told me was he went fishing, said it started to rain when I was out there fishing, and so I was wet, so I wanted to wash my clothes. He went right to the washer, took these rags out, and took his clothes off and put them in the washer. When I searched his truck, after he told me his clothes were all wet from fishing, his jacket in the truck was not wet at all. To me, he's just making excuses for evidence that we're finding or seeing. They didn't make sense, anything he was telling me.